Sarina Siebenal. She is an author of what appears to be a few children's books. Come on in, Sarina. It's good to have you here. I'm loving this book cover.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll put
Good
this.
to shake hands again.
I know, right? My goodness. Sarina, a little bit of background about you, and I'm going to ask you what inspired these children's books, because I absolutely love the colors and I love picture books for kids as well. You have a 9-year-old son who is autistic.
That's right.
When did you first know that your child with special needs or your child was autistic?
Well, before the age of 22 months, he was diagnosed at 22 months.
Okay.
There were some behaviors that were a little bit off, and we knew, I had a gut feeling, as a mom usually does, that we needed to seek some medical attention because I wasn't really familiar with autism, but I knew that there was something there that needed to be discovered and that we could work on to fix it or help, give him the tools to help him get through it. So he was diagnosed at 22 months of age, and during that journey, I kind of did go through a spiral of being in a dark place because it was just, uncharted territory. I didn't know what it was, and in discovering it, I realized that I really needed to start building a village of my own. I needed to seek resources and human connection to help me get through it. So I did do that, and there are wonderful organizations in the Valley that did help me discover and give me the tools that I needed to help my son. So at this point, he is thriving, he's growing. He was nonverbal until the age of 5, and he is now, and so he's, and reading was a very big integral part of that. So we're very lucky in that we immersed ourselves in picture books to help him, start building those language skills. So he's doing really well now.
What's his first name?
Landon.
Okay, Landon.
Yeah.
So when you were going through this journey alongside Landon, and as you just talked about, it's your own journey too, because as a parent, you're trying to really come to the realization this is not the life I thought we were going to live, but I love my son. I'm going to do everything for my son. So how did you come up with the idea to write these books and beautifully illustrated to help other children, not just Landon, but so many other children? And I understand you have quite a celebrity following too.
Yes. So, having a child that is nonverbal, I knew right away that in order to help develop those language skills, I needed to start reading to him. And I was always, I've always been a writer. I've always enjoyed poetry and art. And for me, picture books are just the perfect marriage of the two. And if he couldn't understand, cognitively what I was actually telling him in the story, he could at least look at those pictures. And, in creating the who, what, where, why, how, he started to develop a language of his own. And now he tells beautiful stories of his own. So I'm, really proud of where he has been and where he is now.
I think too, you described that moment when you realized something was there.
Right.
And you felt almost hopeless, or you said you kind of spiraled into some in and out of some dark spaces. Well, two of my very close friends, two separate families, both of them have children who are autistic. And they too felt that same spiraling in and out of like hopelessness, shame, sometimes shame, like, even, and how do I navigate this? And I think that by giving this, you're giving a tool, right? You're finding a way to find purpose out of something. And I think that that's so beautiful in your healing too.
It really has been part of my healing process, because in parenting, it takes up so much energy and emotional space, and you're giving all that you can for your children, right? Whether it's extra needs or just, the normal day-to-day. But I found that I needed to show up for myself to be able to show up for my kids and my family. And so being able to advocate for other families that find out that they have a diagnosis of autism, and being able to encourage reading through early literacy and picture books. And, the love of, I see in my own children that they're motivated with silliness, outlandish, children's books. So that's kind of where I began the writing process, was knowing that with humor. It's a universal language all of its own, and I can help motivate other struggling or emergent readers.
You know, it reminds me, I did an interview with a woman whose child has a rare genetic disorder. She is nonverbal to this day. I believe she's almost 5 now. And she said to me, Carey, normally parents look for milestones. She said, what I've learned is we look for inch stones, and we celebrate those inch stones.
For sure.
And that always stood out to me.
For sure.
And I just wanted you to talk about the titles of your books, because they're so creative. So do not wish for a pet ostrich. Do not wish for a birthday unicorn. And then your upcoming book, do not wish for a Christmas elf.
That's correct, yes. I'm working on that now. But my kids inspired me because they're so entertaining, and they come up with like these crazy ideas. And they always said to me, Mom, why can't I have a unicorn for a pet, or a hippo, or a giraffe? And I thought, how fun would it be if a spunky little girl wished for an ostrich? And if she got it, what would she do? And what kind of silly shenanigans would they go through? So I wrote that in always thinking about special education and what those children would laugh at and be inspired by. So at the end of the story, it reveals the next character, which is the unicorn. And so Kat, the character of the book, has a pet unicorn or a birthday unicorn as a guest for her birthday. And it has a lot of underlining in terms of empathy and teamwork and compassion and kindness. But it's not preachy. It's just really all fun and entertaining. So
one of the things about having 2 of my close friends having children with autism, I'm learning all the time, right?
Yeah,
and I think I don't have children, and I'm always scared. Am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to ask the wrong question? And thankfully, they're very encouraging. They're like, no, maybe ask this way, or maybe say it this way.
Right.
And there was a fascinating article, because I think we need to learn the language and how we talk to a parent who has a child who is autistic. And there was a really great article, and it listed out things don't say and maybe do say.
Right.
I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on this and your own experiences. Don't say, you never know by looking at her that she has autism. She looks normal. Do say, your daughter is adorable. This next one, don't say, God doesn't give you what you can't handle. Everything happens for the best. Do say, is there anything I can do to help you out? I'm here if you need to talk.
Right.
Just through your own life experiences, how has learning that communication with friends and loved ones, meaning good, but perhaps not communicating it the right way?
Well, I think it all starts with awareness, right? I didn't know much about autism before it impacted my own family. And so it's about really understanding and building a relationship and a connection with that person and trying to understand, and I'm very open where I'd say, we probably don't want to say that, that's... I'm okay probably because I'm pretty open and I'll address it, but maybe to somebody else it might be hurtful and painful, and you don't want to, deliver that to somebody. So, I've had those comments mentioned to me, but I also think that in order to be aware or in order to understand it, you first be aware of it, and then the acceptance is there, right? Then you'll be more knowledgeable when you approach somebody else that has the same similar situation.
We so appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Congratulations on all the success. I heard
Thank you.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is a fan of yours.
Oh my gosh.
Jenny McCarthy, rocking the 90s. You're just an inspiration. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. And I'm so glad you guys are all doing well.